every corner. Every corner has a different name for the same game. I know this because I've stood on all four. East side of the map, latitude unknown. I built my kingdom out of angles nobody else saw. I don't raise my voice, I raise the ante. Let you sit across the table and read my posture wrong. Harlem taught me how to wait with a smile on my face while the city negotiates a price it can't afford long. I watch men run their mouth and run they luck dry, both at the same time, same block, same Thursday morning. I took notes on every one of them, the loud ones first, because the loud ones always announce their own morning. This is not about bravado, I left that in 94. This is about knowing which door opens without a knock. Latitude of the Mack is simple arithmetic. Count what you own, count what costs, count what the block forgot. I wear the calculation like a second skin, no goal to announce it. The silence is the advertisement, every move deliberate, every pause intentional. This is the East Coast doctrine, patience is the instrument. You wanna know the game? Read the room before you enter. Watch how long it takes the other man to flinch. That's his margin, that's his tell, that's his ceiling. I found mine when I stopped trying to convince. Every corner, every corner has it. Yeah, every corner has a different name for the same game. Harlem calls it philosophy, the track calls it church. I call it latitude, the exact point on the map where what you're worth and what you're owed finally converge. The make doesn't move until the money moves first. The car stays still until the street can seize the curb. This is not impatience, this is a different clock, one that only a man with latitude can learn to disturb. I've seen them come through with flash and no foundation. 6 months later asking for a different kind of loan. I gave them the same answer the east side gave me once. The game doesn't carry anybody home, so I calculate 2 steps ahead on every avenue. One eye on the corner, one eye on the sky. Latitude is knowing exactly where you stand before you tell the next man what his standing's worth and why. Every corner has a different name for the same game. East side philosophy wrapped in measured stride. I don't need the noise, I need the numbers right, and the only number that matters is the one I decide. Latitude of the Mack, not a title, not a trophy. It's a coordinate that you earn through every season worn. Some men run toward the top of the map without a compass. I already know the longitude I was born. Every corner has a different name. Different name. Then every corner costs the same. No exception for the coast or for the county or the block. Latitude is knowing the price before you pay. Every corner. The Harlem Ledger. The Harlem Ledger. Every down. The Harlem Ledger doesn't lie. Every entry dated, every move accounted for before the move was made. I kept the books on 145th when nobody else bothered. Now the books are what the competition's afraid. You think the game is instinct? I say it's infrastructure, think it's charisma, I say it's compound interest. Every year I held the corner, every year paid a dividend. Patience on the east side is the highest form of contest. MPC 3000, running in my chest, punchy tight, deliberate. Every syllable a beat, every bar a bill, I'm cashing in. Yeah, Harlem doesn't gamble, Harlem makes probabilistic decisions. And the ledger is the document that says exactly where I've been. The Harlem Ledger is open. Every name I counted, every dollar that came through, when every dollar that walked out. I know the difference between the man who's spending and the man who's building, and the ledger knows exactly which one carries the most clout. They brought their West Coast operation east without a translator. Tried to run the stripped aesthetic on a city made of words. Harlem negotiates. We don't just declare and occupy. The ledger doesn't recognize authority from what is never heard. I count in syllables and in cycles and in seasons. A year in Harlem is a century of study. If you're watching right, you'll see the same man make the same mistake 3 consecutive Octobers. The ledger notes it, and the ledger doesn't fight. The Harlem Ledger is open. Every name accounted, every dollar that came through, when every dollar that walked out. I know the difference between the man who's spinning and the man who's building, and the ledger knows exactly which one carries the most. parallel economy on Lennox. The ledger caught it in the second week. A decimal off. A decimal is everything when the margin is already thin. Harlem doesn't forgive the man who plays the ledger soft. I got internal rhyme running through the architecture of my business. Got near rhyme in the contracts that nobody sees on paper. Got assonance in the agreements between the east side players. The ledger, the language, and the ledger is the behavior. This is not the South testimony, not the West Coast territory claim. This is Harlem's specific instrument, the documented account. Every corner has a different name for the same game. Harlem calls it bookkeeping, and the bookkeeping is the amount. The Harlem Ledger is open. Every name accounted, every dollar that came through, and every dollar that walked out. I know the difference between a man who's spending and a man who's building, and the ledger knows exactly which one carries the most clout. Yeah. I've run this borough on vocabulary and on memory. Never needed to get loud when the ledger could speak. The boom bap underneath my argument is the infrastructure that makes every word I say feel like the specific, unique swing groove in the data. MPC precision in the planning, breakbeat in the negotiations. Everything on time. The Harlem Ledger closes when the last man understands that the east side didn't just play the game. We defined the paradigm. The Harlem Ledger is open. Read it close, read it final. Every name, every dollar, every October they forgot. Four corners, same game, but Harlem holds the original copy. And the ledger says the east side never stopped. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. And that's the thing they don't teach you early enough, that you are a link in a chain that started long before you arrived. And the chain doesn't end when you're done, it only continues forward. Marcus taught me that culture doesn't move itself, someone has to move it. Raymond taught me that preparation is an act of respect for the Cypher. Pete taught me that acknowledgement is structural, not just courtesy between people. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you borrowed from. Eddie taught me that the body knows before the mind approves any movement. Devon taught me that the third verse is the whole point, never cut it for anyone. Darius taught me to write where they can't file it away in a cabinet somewhere. Jerome taught me that some circles require 3 laps before you earn entry. Vanessa taught me that silence can hold a standard tighter than any rule book. Every one of them learned it from someone who learned it before the block had a name, and I carry all of it, the whole chain, in every line I write today. Pass the torch, son, and keep moving. The borough is counting on the count, not stopping at any generation. I learned from people who learned from people who invented this language. The torch was already moving when I picked it up. It arrived warm in my hand. That's how you know it's real. It arrives warm. I'm already burning for you. The torch has been passing since before I was born into any of this. Passed from the Bronx River Organization to the park on Sedgwick Avenue. Passed from the park to the Cypher on 125th and Lenox Corner. Passed from the Cypher to the kid on the 6 train with the shoebox full of foundations. I've been doing this long enough to know what gets lost between one generation and the next. It's never the talent, it's never the skill, never the hunger. Those transfer completely fine. What gets lost is the context, the reason, the why it started it all. I watch brilliant kids make brilliant work with everything they have, with no memory of the park at midnight, no knowledge of the extension cord, no relationship to the cold air and the cardboard and the Cypher that built all of this. Pass the torch, son, and keep moving. The borough is counting on the count, not stopping at any generation. What gets lost between generations is not the talent or the hunger. It's the context, the reason, the why, the how it started in the code, and without the why, the what becomes somebody else's product on a shelf. I don't blame the brilliant kids. I was young once and present focused. Cared about what was in front of me, not what came before any of it. But someone took the time to sit me down at a certain table and explain it. And the sitting down changed everything about every line I wrote after that. So this is me sitting you down at the same table, not a lecture, a passing, one link hand in the next what it needs to keep the chain from breaking at the joint where we connect.
Take the torch and carry it in the direction of what you honestly believe. Make something with it that I couldn't make because I am not you at all. Then hand it to whoever is standing behind you and trust the chain was built to hold. Some people pass the torch and wait to see if they're being watched doing it. Don't look back, the borough sees it either way. The chain records everything. Make the work that the people who came before you will recognize as worthy. Not the same work, the next work, the work only you can make with this fire. The culture doesn't diminish because more people carry it forward together. It expands because each hand that holds the torch adds something new to it. Pass the torch, son, and keep moving. The borough is counting on the count, not stopping at any generation. This is me sitting you down the way someone once sat me down in time. One link in the chain, handing the next link exactly what it needs to continue. Don't look back to see if I'm watching. I'm watching, and that's the entire point. The parks and the Cyphers and the record stores and the subway tunnels, that's where I learned this. That's where you'll teach it to whoever comes. Pass it forward and don't wait for someone to give you permission to do it. The borough is still building, still here, still counting every generation.
The doorman, the doorman, the doorman at Club Red. The doorman at Club Red doesn't ask questions. That's his job, that's his protocol. He reads everything he needs to know from the 3 seconds you spend approaching the rope. 37 people tried to get in tonight. 26 made it past the first look. 11 were turned away, and the 11 don't know yet that being turned away was a message. The protocol has no witnesses by design. That is the first thing you learn here. Whatever gets arranged in the back room of any establishment on this avenue was not arranged in any room that anyone else was present in to hear. The walls here are not listeners. They are professionals who keep their own counsel. The doorman positioned himself outside Club Red before the sun was fully down. Not because his shift started, because his presence before dark is part of the message. It tells you something about what the club thinks is worth protecting. And when I've been in 30 rooms on this avenue in 10 years of understanding its language, and I can tell you, the rooms that are really doing something close their ears first. They close the eyes of the room, then they open their mouths to conduct the actual business. Tonight there is business, and the doorman's 3-inch rope adjustment confirmed it. The protocol has no witnesses. That's how the protocol stays the protocol. What happens in the room that closes its ears stays in the only room that matters. The doorman read me in 3 seconds from the approach and stepped aside completely. 26 got through tonight. I was not the first and was not the last they passed. The protocol knows who it recognizes, and it doesn't explain itself to those it doesn't. I know a table in the back that's been reserved the same way for 11 years, not in anyone's name. In the shape of the understanding between the principles. The men who sit at that table don't carry anything that can be described in daylight terms. What they carry is the kind of knowledge that only moves in the dark and by arrangement. Tonight I sat adjacent, not at the table, but where the table could see me clearly, which is a different kind of participation and a more honest one for where I stand now. I watch the doorman from inside. That's the vantage I've been working toward all year. From inside looking out, you see what the outside crowd can't calculate or anticipate. You see the 3 seconds of assessment, the rope adjustment, the body language of the past, and you see the body language of the rejected, which is its own graduate level education, and what the street actually values underneath all the surface presentation of wanting. The protocol has no witnesses. That's how the protocol stays the protocol. What happens in the room that closes its ears stays in the only room that matters. I know a table in the back that's been reserved the same way for 11 continuous years. Not in the name, in the shape of an understanding between the principals who run this block. And the table's continued presence is the only record of every agreement made at it. The arrangement is never spoken, it's demonstrated, which is the superior method. Demonstration is harder to dispute than language and harder to deny in any forum. Clarence taught me this on a Tuesday in January, 3 years before I was ready to hear it. Said, the spoken agreement is the agreement that gets argued about in 2 years or less. The demonstrated agreement is the one that both parties remember exactly the same way. Tonight, the demonstration was 3 minutes at a corner of the right bar in
the right room with the right person who understood what the demonstration was without explanation. The doorman never breaks his protocol, even when he knows both parties in a transaction. Because the protocol is not about who he knows, it's about what the protocol protects. I watched him pass two men he's known for a decade with the same 3-second assessment. And that consistency is the entire point. That is why the room in the back stays quiet. The room that's really doing something keeps no record and wants no witnesses to speak. It communicates in gestures too small for anyone not fluent to read or interpret. The doorman is the last word in this particular grammar of the avenue's deeper language, and the only people who speak it are the ones who were taught it by the ones before them. Tonight I spoke it for the first time without having to translate anything I said or meant. The protocol has no witnesses. That's how the protocol stays the protocol. What happens in the room that closes its ears stays in the only room that matters. The arrangement is demonstrated, not spoken. Demonstration resists the argument. That's what Clarence taught me on a Tuesday in January before I was ready for it. And tonight I used that lesson for the first time at the right table in the right room. The doorman reset the rope to its default position at exactly 2 in the morning, which means the evening had concluded its principal purpose. And the rest is this. The doorman arrow. Nostrand's got its own economy of sound. Somebody speaker up on the corner, somebody holding down the circle, drawing 8 MCs and maybe 20 people. This is where the architecture of the block becomes a steeple. First man in is always Marcus, shoulder square like punctuation. 2 years since his album dropped and still no other station plays it like he did. But on this corner on this night, he steps inside the circle and the whole thing ignites. His flow is the kind of measure that only comes from years of standing in small rooms and learning what it costs to clear the distance between what you mean and what lands in the air. Marcus paid that tuition, you can hear it, it's there. I've been waiting on the outside of this thing for half a year, coming close but never stepping in. The circle is unclear on whether I belong or whether I'm just someone watching. Tonight the beat drops different and my instinct starts unlocking. This is where the language lives before the label gets to shape it, where the syllable is weaponry and nobody's gonna fake it, where you earn an hour to earn the walk away, no middle zone, where every word you drop is either home or not your home. The second MC steps in, she goes by the name of Elevation. 200 syllables compressed into one exhalation. The crowd responds before she finishes. They already know this woman's been putting in the kind of work that doesn't show until it suddenly shows. Until a Tuesday on Nostrand, when 20 people hear something they didn't know, they understand, and the understanding passes through the circle like electricity. This is hip-hop doing what it does, connecting specifically. I step inside the circle, feel the air pressure change, feel the eyes adjust, the posture of the crowd rearrange. Marcus gives me 3 seconds of assessment, then the nod, and I begin with something I've been holding since I crossed the boulevard. I said I came up in these same streets that you memorized at 9. Same fire escape, same corner store, same cracks in the same design. But I heard the city different, heard the jazz inside the noise, heard something in the chaos, learning how to find its voice. I said I'm not trying to be the loudest thing you heard tonight, just trying to be honest in a way that makes the cipher right. The way a key makes a lock right, not by force but by the fit. The way a perfect slant rhyme lands, you feel the truth of it. This is where the language is between the concrete and the rhythm. This is where we settle every depth without a system. 10 MCs and 1 beat in the night air as our witness. Every bar a disposition towards some unspoken fitness. Third man in the circle came up from Flatbush Tuesday. They call him Cannon Loose. His syllables can bruise her Tuesday into something else entirely, something harder. He looks at me and smiles, and I lean in a little farther. Because this is not a battle, this is something more like church, where every soul that steps inside is looking for the worth of what they've carried since the day they first heard something rhyming and understood that words could be a weapon and a lining. The beat is cycling now into its 4th loop. No one's stopping, the crowd is deep now. 30-40 people dropping into this pocket on the avenue that time forgot for an hour. This is what the city grows when it lets something flower. This is where the language lives, inside the lamppost shadow. This is where the history of every block finds its echo. I won't forget the nod that Marcus gave at minute 3. On Nostrand, past the Cypher, past the dark. Something free.
One 30 and I'm on the last. 130 and I'm on the last. 130, 130, yeah. 130 and I'm on the last train going somewhere I'm not sure. The car is 4 people and a smell in a fluorescent light that's tore. Between 2 functions, on and off, it can't decide which. And neither can I, that's the logic of the last train's pitch. The tunnel swallows everything above us. 30 floors asleep below us. 50 years of infrastructure dug too deep for anyone to see the city built on top of what it buried. And I'm sitting in the burial thinking about what I've carried. Last train logic says, whatever you decide at 1 a.m. is more honest than the version you will tell yourself at 10. The daylight versions filter, the edit for the acceptable. The last train logic has no PR. What remains is undeniable. The man across the car is reading something on his phone. His face lit blue-white in the tunnel. He is utterly alone in the way that cities make you, surrounded by the many. But this particular silence costs more than any. Something left unfinished in me since November. A conversation I began and didn't have the ember to complete. I kept postponing past the point of comfort, and now the city's made me sit inside my own discomfort. The woman 2 seats down and sleeping with a bag tight on her chest. She's been through something. You can tell by how she holds the rest. Everything she carries, nothing loose, nothing unguarded. The city taught her early what it means to be outsmarted. That's train logic. Everything is clearer underground, where the noise above is gone and all you got is sound of metal and emotion in the tunnel going dark, where the only thing between you and the answer is the dark. I called her from the platform, it went to voicemail twice. I didn't leave a message, there's a limit to the price of reaching out when reaching's all you've done for 7 months. And every voicemail sounds the same, the asking in the front. And now I'm underground and cannot call and cannot stall. The last train logic says you have to face the thing or fall forward into something that resembles a decision, or keep riding back and forth without a destination. The train rocks on the curve, the lights flicker for a moment. In the window's reflection, I'm the only visible component of myself. Everything else is tunnel dark and steel. The last train logic strips you down to what you actually feel. Now what you've been performing, not the careful modulation of the feeling into something palatable for conversation, but the actual thing, the one that's been sitting in the sternum since the middle of November when the thing became infirm. The light goes out completely for approximately 3 seconds. Pitch black and the whole car breathes differently. When it comes back, 2 people are asleep who weren't before. Something in the dark gave them permission to restore. I've been running from the version of this conversation where I have to be the first to break the stagnation, where I have to say what I've been decorating with delay. The last train logic strips the decoration away. The city above us never really sleeps, not fully, just goes internal, pulls the lights down slowly. The same way a decision that you've been avoiding goes internal, pulls the logic down and keeps going. Last train logic that comes for everyone at one. When the daylight's arguments have finally come undone, when the kind voice in your head has gone home for the evening, and what's left is just the truth of it, not trying to be leaving. The train slows into Bedford, almost there, wherever there is. The woman with the bag wakes up and checks the map with poise. She knows exactly where she's going. I can see it in the certainty. I'm gonna figure that out yet. The city's waiting patiently. 130. Bam. 130.
block is breathing slower now. The boombox found its volume 3 clicks down somehow. The crowd is thin to the ones who aren't ready to leave, and the ones who have nowhere better to be than here. The street lights look the same but feel completely different. The asphalt has a different weight, warm and significant, like it absorbed the night and it's returning in increments through the soles of your shoes and up into your ligaments.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher's settling.
4 a.m. cool down.
The night remembering. Every move, every bar, every bounce and every freeze.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher running free. Keisha was still here, sitting on a planter box. Marcus had his jacket back, relacing both the socks. Jerome was leaning somewhere with a look that said it all. That look you get when something gave you everything it had to call. I sat down next to Henry on the barbershop step, and he said something I didn't expect. He said, every time I watch this, I think about the first time. 1963, a different block, a different rhyme, but the same circle, same geometry, same need, same body saying what the mouth can't intercede. The cypher never closed, son, it just moved from block to block, from year to year, from generation past the clock.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher settling.
4 a.m. cool down.
The lesson crystallizing. Henry's voice was quiet as the city at this hour, quiet as the space between the last note and its power. I turned that phrase around inside my chest all the way home. The cypher never closed, it only ever moved its home. I thought about the times I felt the most alone and realized I've been standing at a cypher I had outgrown. The one in my own head, closed and self-referential. The kind of cypher where the only voice is credential, where the beat is self-approval and the crowd is your own doubt. And the cypher never opened because you never let it out.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher teaching.
4 a.m. cool down.
The lesson reaching further than the block and further than the night. 4 a.m. and Henry said it right.
4 a.m. cool down.
It never left me alone. I walked home with the city pulling quiet around my shoulders. The kind of quiet that is earned, the kind that gets no older. The asphalt still releasing heat from 7 hours ago. The same heat it absorbed, just taking longer now to go. I laced my shoes back where I started, 9 blocks from the block. I thought about the first step in the moment on the walk, when I said to the lamppost in the darkness in the street that I needed something real, and the several found my feet. The cypher never closed, Harry said it and he meant it. The cypher never closed, the night confirmed it and extended it from the walk at 9 o'clock to the 4 a.m. step home. The cypher never closed, it never left me alone.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher never closed.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher never closed. Every night like this one keeps the geometry alive.
4 a.m. cool down.
The cypher never closed. And I'll be back next Friday when the week has had its say. And I'll walk those 9 blocks and I'll find the cypher's way. And the box will still be there and somebody will have moved. And Henry will be watching and the cypher will have grooved into the same old corner of the same old asphalt lane. Cause the cypher never closed, it just waits for the right person to hoop. And now with their whole beat on their back. The cypher never closed and it always has you back.
is the walk before the fire. This is the walk before the fire. This is the walk before the fire.
Yeah. The city drops a different key after 9. Sodium lights trade places with the halogen line. I lace up slow, let the quiet find its place before the block starts talking and the bass fills the space. Step outside and the temperature's 2 degrees lower than you think. The kind of cold that makes your collar worth a second think. Asphalt holds the warmth from 7 hours of sun and releases it like a debt paid slow. Every step undone. Yeah, this is the walk before the cypher, before the crowd, before the speakers get to work and speak their purpose out loud. This is the hollow half mile between the door and the block, where the city gives you time to check your clock, and I clock it. The way the corner store lights die at 9:05. The way Miss Dorothy's porch stays lit to keep her daughter alive. The way the alley holds its breath when somebody walks through. I know these beats by heart, every crack, every shoot. 9 blocks out. And the bass is already touching me. A distant thump below the city's mediocrity. Somebody's got a speaker and somebody's got a move, and the asphalt knows exactly where the groove runs through. I've been carrying the week like a briefcase full of dust, so I leave it at the lamppost, let it crumble in the rust. Nothing that I owe tonight is due before the sun, and the cypher never closed, it only just begun. 9 blocks out, and I feel the first breath of the crowd. Voices overlapping, making something out of loud. Something raw and circular, a geometry of sound. The kind of thing that only happens when you're city bound. Let the wheat dissolve between the cracks that line the walk. Let the lamppost hold the silence, I was never meant to talk. This hour is not borrowed, this hour is my own. 9 blocks out from everything I thought I had to know. Step and feel it, feel the reverb of the block ahead. Step and feel it, city calling like a voice inside your head. Step and feel it, something living in the concrete and the hum. Step and feel it, the cypher never closed. Just kept the beat for some. This is the walk before the fire. This is the breath before the choir. This is the 1 dog mile between the door and where you're going, and I know it well. I've been on it long enough to keep it glowing. Nine blocks out, the crowd is real now, shapes and silhouettes. Somebody freestyling off the top, no safety nets. The boombox on the ground, a throne of black and chrome, and I realized standing here I never really left home. I came back to find a cypher where I left it in the air, hanging like the question between here and everywhere. I let my shoulders drop the weight I didn't mean to bring, and the asphalt felt familiar, and the bass felt like spring. Step and feel it. 9 blocks out, and the cypher never closed. Step and feel it. Step and feel it. The night is young, and everything I need is in the groove. I walk into the circle like the comma in a line. Not a period, not a question, just a pause to realign. The city doesn't ask you where you've been or why you came. The cypher never closed. It just remember every name. Every name.
Yeah. 14 tables in the room, and one of them is mine tonight. The stage is empty and has been since the last musician left at 2. The bartender is counting something he doesn't need to count right now, because counting gives the silence a procedure to run through. Yeah. This is what the Brooklyn Jazz venue looks like after the applause. 14 tables with the evidence of what the night consumed. 3 glasses still with something in them, 2 napkins on the floor, and the marimba on the stage that nobody folded and removed. I keep coming back to rooms like this, the after-hour inventory, Not for nostalgia and not for any ceremony or intent, but because the empty stage tells me something about the performance, that the performance itself was too busy being performed to represent. 14 tables and one empty stage. The uplifting jazzy texture cuts against the emptiness of the room. 14 tables and one empty stage. The Rhodes piano on the record playing is the only thing in bloom. The boom bap underneath this inventory is doing something subtle. It's keeping time for no one, which is the truest form of keeping time. The drum machine doesn't need an audience to maintain its rhythm, and in that mechanical patience there's a principle I'm trying to align. Keisha poured the last round at 2:15 and hasn't moved. She's leaning on the register with her eyes on the middle distance. I know her from 6 months of Friday nights in this specific venue, and she knows me as the man who always stays past the resistance. 14 tables and one empty stage. The uplifting jazzy texture cuts against the emptiness of the room. 14 tables and one empty stage. Keisha on the register and me with the last pour and the marimba in view. I've been in every configuration of this room across this borough. Full, half full, the strange 3/4 when the music was too good to leave. Tonight is the 14 table configuration, my favorite, because 14 tables at 2:30 is the borough starting to grieve. Not grief from loss, grief from the kind of beauty that can't be extended. The night was beautiful and now it's approaching the part where it concedes. The empty stage is not absence, it's the shape of what was present, and the shape is what stays after the music retreats. 14 tables and one empty stage. The uplifting jazzy texture cuts against the emptiness of the room. 14 tables and one empty stage. The marimba on the stand still has the last note waiting in its keys. I think about the canyons going dark outside of Los Angeles right now, and the bayou receiving what the NOLA streets released at 3. And I am here in Brooklyn with my inventory of an empty room, finding that the empty stage has something in common with both of these. The stage, the canyon, and the bayou, all vessels that hold the performance after the performance leaves. The night runs deeper here, it runs in what the rooms keep after closing, and what the canyon holds after the headlights, and what the bayou receives. 14 tables and one empty stage. The night has shown its architecture, I can see it now. 14 tables and one empty stage. Brooklyn after 2 a.m. is teaching me the how.
Snap that concrete, snap that concrete, snap that concrete, snap that concrete with the syllable fleet. Snap it out, snap that concrete, snap that concrete. Every bar lands harder than the last time we meet. This is boom bap at the edge of the envelope. This is every word a knife inside a velvet throat. This is technical and physical, the verse and the step. This is 16 bars of precision and whatever's left. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. Technical and sharp and never off the beat. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. East Coast meeting Southern on a two-way street. The Cypher had 2 languages by 3 in the morning. Boom bap precision in the Southern bounce adorning every corner of the block. The East Coast MC started moving to the bounce, and the bounce absorbed the freeze. I watch my words the way a dancer watches feet. syllable of footwork. Every bar a beat a meet against the bone of the sentence. Internal rhyme at combat speed. I'm snapping concrete with the density of the verse I lead. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. I feel the boom bap at the Cypher's peak. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. What you came to hear and feel this week, come correct or don't come at all. This is technical terrain where the whack verse gets corrected and the strong one holds its lane. Where the crowd decides the verdict without raising any hand. Where the cipher is the courtroom and the body is the stand. You can feel a wrong bar the way you feel a misstep land. That hollow sound, that offbeat, the crowd's involuntary scan and then correction. Somebody comes in and writes the ship. SP 1200 underneath, 16 bars, no slip. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. Boom bap MC from the block to the suite. Snap that concrete, snap that. Snap the syllables, make the concrete obsolete. I've been sharpening this since before the venue had a name. I've been building this vocabulary block by block the same way the dancer builds a vocabulary of the floor. One frozen bar at a time, one footwork, one encore. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. Every word a landmine in the street. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. Boom bap living where the body and the beat meet. The cipher had its closest thing to silence when the bar landed clean. That half-second pause before the crowd confirmed what it had seen. That moment where the verse completes and the crowd catches its breath is the only thing in hip-hop that's as close to life as death. I want that moment every time, that half-breath, that pause, that confirmation from the circle that the bar had claws, that the word snap concrete, that the internal rhyme bled, that the syllable density says something that the crowd's body read. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. This is boom bap at the peak of the feast. Snap that concrete, snap that concrete. East Coast meeting Southern at the corner of the beast. Snap it out, snap it out. 16 bars in the crowd's not got a doubt. Snap it out, snap it out. This is what the boom bap's all about. Snap it out, snap it out. Technical and physical throughout. Snap it out, snap it out. Snap that concrete, Cypher moving out.
The last one leaves before the sun makes any claim. She doesn't say goodbye, that's part of the grammar of the game. The door clicks shut and the room returns to what it always was. Before the night began to narrate what the room was for, because an empty room in this context, a particular weight, not grief exactly, more the weight of something accurate. The way a number at the bottom of a column tells the truth, without apology or warmth, just this is what the proof produces when you run it through. After the last bottom leaves, after the last bottom leaves, the room holds everything it witnessed. After the last bottom leaves, the chair, the light, the particular quiet of a door just closed. After the last bottom leaves, this is what you chose. I've been in this room in different cities 30 years, and the room is always honest, doesn't deal in souvenirs, just the residue of presence, the warm indent on the chair, the particular frequency of breathing that still lives in the air and disappears within the hour. The room doesn't mourn, it just returns to neutral, the way a granite returns to the horn of its own rules. When a sentence ends and the page is blank, the room goes back to being a room and you go back to rank amateur of solitude, sitting in a chair, knowing every rule of what just happened, knowing every prayer of the code, the syntax, the posture and the walk, and sitting in the quiet with no one left to talk at or to or. After the last bottom leaves, after the last bottom leaves, the window looks like Clarence since after the last bottom leaves, and I find myself reading the street the way he read it. After the last bottom leaves, and I finally get it. What Clarence saw from his window was not the game. It was the street, just the street before we gave it a name. The people moving through it without a role to play, just humans on a boulevard at the end of a day. And he watched the way a man watches something beautiful that is ending, that has always been in the process of the pull toward ordinary morning, toward coffee in the absence of the particular digit of the night performs in cadence. The game has its own grammar. I said it first in track one. I said it from the outside as a student in the run of learning, but I say it now from inside the empty room, and it means something different. Not a lesson, more a tomb, not a tomb of death. A tomb of contained things, the grammar, the code, the window, the ring of the Bourbon Street brass, the state line bass, the payphone December call, the arithmetic, it's all in here, inside this wall. After the last bottom leaves, after the last bottom leaves, the grammar keeps its architecture. After the last bottom leaves, 30 years of study in a language built for distance. After the last bottom leaves, and the question leader left me. What are you playing for? I sit in the chair and hold the question in the quiet. I've been too busy with the grammar to buy it. Enough time to answer, and now time is the only thing left in the room. And the question is the only thing that hasn't been resolved by study, by patience, by the road, by the lobby, and the state line, and the carrying of the code. I can parse every sentence of the grammar, every clause, and I cannot tell you what I'm playing for, because after the last bottom leaves, the room asks what you're building. After the last bottom leaves, the grammar stops delivering. The architecture of the game is elegant and cold. After the last bottom leaves, the story isn't told by the grammar, it's told by whoever's in the chair at 5 in the morning with the city in the air. And the question that a woman left me in a December payphone, and the answer that I've been carrying alone. I sit into the light, decides to redefine the window, and the boulevard below begins the ordinary tempo of a city waking into commerce and complain. And the grammar of the game, magnificent and quaint, retreats into whatever drawer it lives into the night. And the room becomes a room, and the light becomes light, and I become a man without the theater for a moment. And that moment is the only grammar worth the atonement. The game has its own grammar. The game has its own grammar. The grammar has its own cost. The game has its own grammar. And after all the study, after all the patient amber, the game has its own grammar, but it never told me what I'm after.
The game has its own grammar. Dr. Seti. Before you learn a single word, you have to learn the silence. There's a quiet that precedes the game, a practice kind of science. The way a man who knows will never tell you that he knows. The way the sentence starts before the mouth opens and goes. The game has its own grammar, subjects, verbs, and objects, all of them in amber, preserved in a particular kind of light that only shows itself at certain hours of the night. I learned it watching, not by asking, never by asking. The asking is the tell that marks the student from the master. You watch the way a man impressed linen reads a room. You watch the way he never chases, he prepares the bloom, and then the bloom comes to him. That's sentence one in the grammar of the game. Subject is patience, verb is stillness, object is the claim. You can't conjugate correctly if you haven't sat in quiet long enough to hear the difference between knowledge and the riot. The game has its own grammar. Nobody hands you the textbook and the hammer. You read it in the posture of the ones who've been, and in the failures of the ones who move too quick to win. I met an old man on a Tuesday in the rain. He was carrying something in the way he moved his cane, not leaning on it, holding it. The difference matters here. The way a man holds what he carries tells you what he's carried for years. He didn't speak about the game directly, none of them do. They speak in parables and angles and the color of a shoe, and you either hear it or you don't. And if you don't, then the game already told you where your sentence will flow. The game has its own grammar, the syntax of the slow stroll, the semantics of the manner. The punctuation is the pause between the words you choose not to say. The game has its own grammar, and you study it or you pay. Page 1, a man who talks about what he has doesn't. Page 2, the one who names his players never wins. Page 3, quiet room requires no defense. Page 4, if you have to explain the move made no sense. I carried page 4 for a decade before I understood that the game doesn't want you to be clever, it wants you to be good at reading what the room requires before the room requests it, and answering with something that the room didn't know it needed. The game has its own grammar, and the grammar has a cost that comes in chapters. Chapter 1 is free, you learn it in the watching. Chapter 2 is expensive, you learn it in the losing. Chapter 3, if you reach it, tastes like pressed linen on Tuesday. It tastes like the correct pause, the particular quiet, the moment when the room adjusts to you instead of the other way around. The game has its own grammar, learn it or the grammar learns you instead. The game has its own grammar, and the first rule is that it was never what they said. It was never what they said it was. It was never what the movies made it. It was always quieter and slower and more patient than the version that the loud ones narrated. The the game has its own grammar.
I'm still studying, and some days I think I've mastered a clause or two. And some days the grammar corrects me without mercy, and I go back to page 1, same as you.
Same as you. In the lobby, the outlet doesn't have a name. Too late to be the night, too early to stake a claim on being morning. The lobby lives in that parentheses where the game shows itself without the theater of the premise. The front desk clerk is doing the math behind his eyes, the kind of math that lobby clerks do to their surprise of every shift. He's cataloged 12 years of what walks through, and he greets each one of them the same, professional and new. The lobby at 458, the lobby at 458, where the game removes its coat and drops the weight. The lobby at 458, where everybody waits for a room key or a cab or a reprieve from fate. I sat in this lobby since the 90s. Different lobbies, same geometry, the same parenthetical probably exists in every city where the business runs past 3. The lobby is the only honest room. It cannot be curated. It doesn't have the time. The people come and go before the lobby can compose itself into a show. It's just a chair, the marble floor, the desk, the light at low, and the humans in between who have to be somewhere they go. The lobby at 458, the lobby at 458, where the game removes its coat and shows its freight. The lobby at 458, the parentheses of late. The lobby at 458, the room that holds no weight. I watched a woman in a fur coat count something in her palm. The counting was so practiced that it found a kind of calm that made the counting feel like prayer. The way the fingers move like rosary beads worn into specific grooves across the lobby. A man in linen was consulting something on his phone. His posture said he was a visitor. His shoes said he was known somewhere else, somewhere where the linen makes more sense. And he was here by accident or calculation. I couldn't tell the tense. The lobby at 458 holds everybody's grammar. The businessman, a woman counting me with my amber glass of the hotel kind you order at the bar that closes at 11. But the lobby remembers what you are. It serves you from the mini bar at an adjusted rate. The lobby at 458, where everything is late and everything is priced accordingly and without apology. And the lobby is just honest about the cost of the philosophy. I learned more philosophy in lobbies than in any other room. Clarence at his window, I found mine in this half-light perfume of the lobby's particular hour between the elevator hum and the automatic doors brief gasp when someone goes or comes. The lobby at 458. I have made some of my best decisions by that plate. Of marble, thinking in the chair, watching what walks through the lobby at 458. The room that always knew more than I was ready to admit about the game's real face. The lobby at 458 strips everything to space and function. There is no performance at 458. There's only what you need, what it will cost, and how you wait. And whether you wait well or badly, whether the waiting fits your code or whether the code is something borrowed and the waiting makes you float slightly above the marble like a man who hasn't landed yet. The lobby at 458. The hour you don't forget. The lobby at 458. The lobby at 458, where the game removes its coat and drops the weight. Every lobby, every city, every particular late. The lobby at 458. I'll be in one when I'm great, and when I'm not, the lobby doesn't differentiate. When I'm not, the lobby doesn't differentiate. The Mack's Arithmetic. The Mack, the Mack's, the Mack, the Mack's Arithmetic. The Mack's Arithmetic. manage, let me show the work. Carry the one from every deal, subtract the aftermath and lurk in the margins of the ledger where the numbers never sing. The kind of math that only makes sense when it's reckoning. I learned to count at Clarence's window. Learn that time is currency, and currency spent on the wrong hour is a permanent deficiency. I learned to multiply from Big T on the interstate with distance times the operation equals everything at stake. The Mack's arithmetic, the Mack's arithmetic, cold and clinical and never poetic. The Mack's arithmetic, carry the one from everything it costs to get this far. The Mack's arithmetic, this is what we are. You think the game is drama, you think it plays like narrative, it doesn't. It plays like an equation over negative integers where every variable has a cost you can't defer, and the interest on the patience compounds every single year. I've been compounding since the early 90s, calculating the return on every lesson against what I was paying in time and proximity. And the thing you sacrifice when you choose the window over the moment, that's the price. The Mack's arithmetic, the Mack's arithmetic. Every balance sheet is tragic. The Mack's arithmetic. The assets are the knowledge and the liabilities are the years. The Mack's arithmetic. It's all arithmetic. It's all arithmetic. It's all arithmetic. In the summer, rock stands, Monday mornings added to the lobby lights, added to the state line and the second line in the bourbon nights, added to the question leader left me in December on the phone equals something I can calculate but cannot call home. The Mack's arithmetic, the Mack's arithmetic. I've been running figures since I hit it. The Mack's arithmetic. The sum is not what I expected when I started doing math. The Mack's arithmetic. The number on the aftermath. I wanna tell you the game paid dividends. I wanna tell you that. I wanna show the calculation and conclude it with the fact of acquisition. But the honest Mack's arithmetic shows that what I've earned in knowledge I've dissolved in the specific. Cost of being the kind of person who divides their world into the game and the observer and the grammar and the girl who counts on Monday morning and the man who sits in amber in the row between the state lines. I've divided this forever. And the sum of all this division is a man who knows the rules and cannot tell you if the rules will work. The particular fools they made of everyone who touched this game, including me, including Clarence by his window, including what we couldn't see. The Mack's arithmetic, the Mack's arithmetic, added up in the result is the Mack's arithmetic. Everything you accumulate in mastery and measure. The Mack's arithmetic. The game is not a treasure. It's a system, just a system, brilliant in its way. The way an elegant equation has a beauty to display. Even when its answer is a number you don't want. The Mack's arithmetic is honest. That's its only font of grace. The math doesn't lie about the total when the total says I spent myself entirely on the protocol. And I got the protocol, I got the grammar and the code. But the Mack's arithmetic says you've spent your life on this road. The Mack's arithmetic, the Mack's arithmetic. I can do the math, but I can't quit it. The Mack's arithmetic. The sum keeps calling me back into the calculation. The Mack's arithmetic. That's the whole equation. This is what we are. Midnight on Lennox and yeah. Midnight on Lennox. Yeah. Midnight on Lennox and we're walking without a destination, which was her suggestion. She said, I'm not ready for the station. And I'm not either, honestly, but I wouldn't have been the one to say it first. She said it first, which is already something. Yeah. The sidewalk on Lennox at midnight in June is a specific width that's wide enough for two people to walk apart or with their shoulders close. We found the in between the distance that isn't decided yet, that's doing its own kind of insistence on the question of what this is. Lennox at midnight has its own pedestrian population. The person walking fast with somewhere to be the contemplation of the person walking slow. The couple we pass who have clearly
Been together long enough to walk without looking at each other nearly at all. Both looking outward, which is a whole different kind of close. She notices them too, I can tell. She says nothing but the most. Careful pause enters a step or 2-second registration of what long-term looks like in real time in this specific location. We passed the closed halal cart, still smells like everything it cooked today. The owner stacking things with the particular economy of someone who's done this 10,000 times and has made peace with the repetition. She says something about how we undervalue that piece. I agree. There's something about a person who has found their thing and does it without drama every day. The kind of living that doesn't require an audience or a narrative arc. Just the cart, the food, the clothes in the same corner after dark. The lamplight doesn't ask for reasons. It just finds us here on Lennox, walking past the same car every season. The lamplight doesn't ask where this is going. It only shows us what's already here, already glowing. She walks the way she does everything, with something that's not hurry, but also not indifference. A pace that says, I'm here, no worry about the pace itself. She's one of those people for whom the walking is the point, not what comes after. She makes room in the motion for the motion's own sake. I usually walk fast, always somewhere to be even when I'm not. But in the last 4 blocks, I slowed to something I didn't know I could maintain. This pace, this particular unhurried quality of the campaign of just existing on a block at midnight. We stop at a corner and the light is red and we're not in any kind of rush. She looks up at the buildings the way you do when you haven't looked up in a while. And the feelings that come with looking up are different from the ones that come with looking straight. There's something about vertical that opens up the state of whatever you're carrying. She breathes in slow and says, do you ever think about all the people in those windows all those days? Stacked on top of each other, 100 windows, 100 separate living things are running simultaneously. She does this, turns ordinary things into something that makes you feel the weight and the beauty of the ordinary simultaneously. Like all that verticality is actually full, actually running, actually somebody. The light changes, we cross, a shoulder brushes mine for exactly 1 step on the far side of the crosswalk line. Neither of us adjust, we keep the new distance, the closer one. Midnight on Lennox and we're still walking. We're not done. The lamplight doesn't ask for reasons. It just holds the corner while we stand here in the season of whatever this is. Late June, late night, no hurry. The lamplight just illuminates. We do the rest, don't worry. We do the rest, don't worry. Don't worry. The lamplight. Yeah. 11:15 in the bars, doing what bars do, making everybody's story look like something that could be true. I've been sitting at this corner for the better part of an hour, watching the light do things to people that the daylight lacks the power to do. Something about lamplight at 11 in Harlem softens every angle, turns the whole room into a careless song. She came in 20 minutes past and took the seat to my left. I pretended to be reading something. I'm not sure what was left of the page I was supposedly on. The words became irrelevant the moment she rearranged the whole frame of the room by simply sitting down and ordering in that voice. The kind of voice that doesn't sound like it's making any noise, but you hear every syllable, you hear the space between them. The bartender responds differently, you notice him leaning in. This is what someone does to a room when they don't know they're doing it, when they're just being themselves and the room has no choice but pursuing it. The lamplight doesn't ask for reasons. It just falls on everything and makes the night worth being in. The lamplight doesn't ask who you arrive with. It only asks if you're still here, and I am still here. Still breathing in. She ordered something I didn't catch, said it quietly. The barman knew it, not at once, like they had a treaty. She's been here before, knows the bartender by something other than name, by the kind of shorthand two people build when a bar becomes the same. Every Thursday or every Friday, some regular ritual. I've been to this bar 3 times and none of them was spiritual until tonight, until 11:15 in this light, when she put a book on the bar and said something about the night being the kind of night for reading outdoors, but then the rain, and she gestured at the window at the wet glass in the lane below us, running with reflections of the street light in the wet. And I said something about rain having better timing than regret. The lamplight doesn't ask for reasons, it just finds the two of us here at the same hour on the same evening. The lamplight doesn't ask what we were running from, it only knows that we arrived and neither of us felt like leaving. Her name is 3 syllables, she said it and I held it in the place in my chest where you hold a thing before you felt it become familiar. It's still unfamiliar and specific in the way that new names are before they stop being specific and start being just the sound that means a person you know well. She asked what I was reading, I told her and I could tell she read it too, or something adjacent. The way your head went slightly left the way it does when the thing lands accurately but lightly. We talked about a sister moving back to Brooklyn in the year that swallowed everything that moving tends to cost. I could hear the whole story in the part she chose to leave out at the edges, the way a careful person holds what matters at the ledges of what they'll say to someone they met 45 minutes back. She trusted me with the outline, which is its own kind of act of generosity, to give someone the shape of something real before you know if they're the kind of person who can feel what the shape is pointing at. The lamplight doesn't ask for reasons, it just shows you everything that's here without embellishment or screening. The lamplight doesn't promise you the morning or a name, it only offers this, the hour, and the two of us inside the frame. We sat in this bar for what turned out to be an hour and a half. I forgot 3 things I was carrying and found a different math. One, where the variables are simpler, just this room, this light, this person, and the question of what happens when the clock runs past a certain amount of comfortable. We're past it, neither of us moving. The rain outside is doing what the rain does, slowly proving that sometimes weather makes the choice that people can't quite make. 11:15. Now it's almost 12:30 and awake, in a way that had nothing to do with the drink I ordered.
Territory one. Compton said it. I heard the Crenshaw decree. I heard what Houston's 808 carries in its lowest register. I heard Memphis preach from Trump sermon number 9, and I heard Dallas driving north without a translator. I am the closing argument, East Coast with the verdict. A Kai sample of running tight and gritty in the chest. All 4 corners spoke the truth in their specific language. Now the boom bap asked which one held up under test. The answer is not victory. The answer is accounting. Every corner paid a price that only they can calculate. I was born on the east side, but I studied all 4 territories. And the legend that I kept says every corner has a weight. 4 corners pay the same. The chrome and the fur and the 808 and the horn. 4 corners. 4 corners pay the same. Every territory earned. Every territory won. I transcribe the West Coast stripped arithmetic. I transcribe the South slow gospel underneath the crawl. I transcribe the bounce cadence in the Memphis horn philosophy, and every transcription ends on the same closing call. 4 corners, same game. That's what I planted in track 01. Every corner has a different name for what it cost. The Harlem Ledger, the Crenshaw decree, the Trump sermon, the Dallas highway. All 4 corners paid the toll, and not one crossed without a loss. running rougher than it did in the beginning. Track 01 was warm vintage. This is raw and gritty because 10 tracks are paying the same price. Change is what the sound is hearing. I'm at the latitude from west to south to east. I read the gospel, heard the decree, counted the ledger twice. 4 corners, one game, in every corner cost the same price. I said it first in track 01. I didn't know how right. The chrome and the fur and the 808 and the horn. Every Mack in every city, bass the same at dawn. The game doesn't distinguish between geography when it collects. It doesn't care if the bass comes from a Texas 808 or a Harlem drum machine. It doesn't care if the Mack wears chrome or fur or gator boots or nothing. The game collects the same amount, and the game collects it clean. So I leave this here, the East Coast closing document. The boom bap underneath the final argument. 4 corners testified, 4 corners paid the portion, and the ledger said they all came up with the same amount spent. The game chose me before I chose the game, and every corner has a different name for the same cause. 4 corners, one game, and every corner costs the same. Every corner costs the same. Memphis, Houston, Harlem, all the same. All corners, different languages, one ledger. Four corners pay the same. Four corners pay the same. Always sat by the same window. 3rd floor, the room with the broken Venetian shade. He never fixed it, said the slanter light at 4 o'clock. Told him everything he needed about the way the day was made. Clarence by the window, watching the boulevard. Clarence by the window, reading what the street had marked. Clarence never moved until the street told him to move. Clarence by the window, teaching me to read the groove. He had a glass of something amber, never saw him pour it. Had a cigar that was 3/4 ash before I noticed it. He spoke the way a man speaks when he's long past needing to convince. Every word already landed somewhere in the air, and since you either caught it or you didn't, Clarence wasn't going back. He said the ones who make you repeat yourself already lack the thing you can't install, the thing that's either there or not. He tapped the window with one knuckle and said, "See that parking lot?" Clarence by the window, watching the boulevard. Clarence by the window, patience like a playing card. Held close to the chest until the hand is worth the show. Clarence by the window, that's the only thing I know. Yeah, he said a man who needs the room to know he's in the room has already lost the room before he crosses the perfume of someone's expectation. You understand what that means? I didn't, but I said nothing. And he nodded at the blinds, that's lesson 1. He said the correct answer to the question you don't understand is to let the question sit. The room will answer it for you if you give the room the air. The ones who speak too fast are filling silence with their fear. Clarence by the window, watching the boulevard. Clarence by the window, every woman, every card. Lay face down on the felt until the dealer made his card. Clarence by the window, knowing when and knowing all. I watched him watch a woman cross the boulevard below. She didn't know she was being cataloged. Most of them don't know. He said she walks like someone who has recently been certain, and that certainty just cracked.
You see the tell inside the curtain. I looked and I saw nothing. He said exactly, learn to see the nothing. The nothing is where everything the game requires is hiding. A woman whose certainty just cracked is looking for a grammar. And the man who knows the grammar, hand him the hammer. Clarence by the window, watching the boulevard. Clarence by the window. The education scarred. Whoa, into everything I know about the way the world arranges. Black. Clarence by the window. Slow stroll through the changes. I asked him once, the only time I asked him something direct, I said, Clarence, is it worth it? He looked at me and checked his glass, his cigar, the window, the street, and said, the worth of it is not the question. That's what I told my mentors, dead, instructors, the game was never worth. The worth of it is what you do with what you learn inside the hurt. The finding out the grammar doesn't care about deserving. And he went back to watching, and I went back to observing. Clarence by the window, watching the boulevard. Clarence by the window, it was always gonna be hard. Oh, Clarence never said it would be easy or be clean. Clarence by the window, teaching me the in-between. I think about that room sometimes, the amber, the ash, the slant. I think about the parking lot and what I couldn't see but can now. Decades after Clarence, when I sit by different windows, I find myself reading boulevards and talking to the blinds. Clarence by the window. Clarence by the window. I'm doing what you showed me, watching what the street records. Clarence by the window. Clarence by the window. The game has its own grammar. You are patient with the words.
Before I chose the game. That's the sentence nobody warns you about. I came in wearing a borrowed coat and a borrowed name. Walked in the rooms that had no exits going out. I read the air before I read a room. Counted every watch before I counted every man. Velvet on the surface underneath the bloom. Or something more, the darker cold is contraband. They said you gotta dress the part before you play it. Gotta speak the language before you learn the words. So I pressed the crease, kept the voice steady, didn't say it. Just walked in and everybody heard. This is the entrance, nobody claps. This is the moment before the moment starts. Learn to read the silence and the gaps. Velvet and venom running through these parts. Studied every hustler that I ever watched move. Took the ones who fell and filed them under lessons. Took the ones still standing and I copied every groove. Kept my own additions, kept my own possessions. Corner man named Dio said the first rule's patience. Said the second rule is never need anything out loud. Said the third rule is there are only two stations. You're the one being counted or you're in the crowd. I chose a different frequency, something cold and patient. Learn to look expensive when the pockets echo thin. Velvet on the posture, iron in the cadence. Let them wonder what was underneath the skin. This is the entrance, nobody claps. This is the moment before the moment starts. Learn to read the silence and the gaps. Velvet and venom running through these parts. When the lobby's full of players, I don't rush to introduce. I let the room adjust to something it don't recognize. Yet every pimp who ever lost did it chasing short-term juice. I'm playing longer hands, not losing sleep on smaller debts. The game will take your peace before your money. The game will take your people for your pride. Everything about the Cypher's cold and not quite funny. Velvet on the outside, venom locked inside. Remember every dormant Every face that held the door, remember who was watching when you walked in with the vision. The ones who didn't nod, they're the ones to watch out for. Be the last man standing through the clearest kind of precision. This is the entrance, nobody claps. This is the moment before the moment starts. Learn to read the silence and the gaps. Velvet and venom, this is how it starts. The game chose me before I chose the game. That's the sentence etched in every choice I make. I didn't come to play it, I came to change the frame. The velvet is the surface, the venom is the stake.
I've been counting what the game kept versus what the game returned to me in some form. Everything that in it, everything that left, and whether what's remaining qualifies as warm. What the game kept, the first version of my patience, before it hardened into something I don't question. The parts of me that lived before the stations. A protocol replaced every other lesson. What the game kept, 3 people I can name who came in with a reason and left with something broken. Yvonne with her notebooks, the uncompleted frame of every conversation we left unspoken. What the game gave back, precision in the darkness, the kind of clarity that only pressure delivers. The understanding that the soft spots and the heartless are just 2 descriptions of the same cold rivers. What the game gave back, a life that has a structure, even when the structure is the cost of living. Even when the architecture of the rupture is indistinguishable from what I've been given. I came into this life with one conviction, that the game could be a system I could master. 6 years later, standing in the friction of what I built, I'm not sure what I'm after. The game chose me before I chose the game, and I never did get out clean. The game kept more than it returned the same, and when it gave me back, you couldn't have foreseen. And the game kept, it's hard to categorize. It kept the person I was at the entrance, the one who walked in reading every pair of eyes. Before the reading became maintenance. What the game kept, it's not in any ledger, not in Theo's lessons or in Ming Coat mathematics, not in every protocol or every measure, not in the architecture of the systematic. It kept the moment before the first decision, when I stood outside the door, the way I taught myself and felt the weight of what would be the incision of a choice that puts a different version on the shelf. What the game gave back, the skill to survive it, the discipline that held through every rupture, the cold enough to function and revive it. When the whole thing tried to fold into conjecture, Yvonne would ask, was it worth the mathematics? Simone would ask, was the protocol enough? Marcus would ask, what's the cost of the tactics? Preacher would ask, when does cold become love? I don't have the answers that I'm asking, I only have the questions that I carry, and the understanding that the counting and the tasking do end when the night turns ordinary. The game chose me before I chose the game, and I never did get out clean. I keep the ledger, but I stopped reading the same columns that I wrote at 17. What the game kept was never mine to hold, and what I'm holding now is just the consequence of every choice made to survive the cold, with something left that still makes reference to the version at the entrance. Coat and borrowed name, who read the room before he read a man, who chose the frequency of something cold and patient and became the thing he was before the plan. The game chose me.